Hello, I'm going to do a series on playing clawhammer ukulele. If you check YouTube, there's a number of good videos out there. I know Aaron Kine has done some videos on clawhammer ukulele as well as some other people, and those are good videos. I would highly recommend checking those out. I'm going to do a several part one here. I'm just going to go through the kind of an introduction. The next video will be what the actual stroke playing technique is, and then looking at other tunings that you can play clawhammer on the ukulele. But just kind of basic background. I guess I'm holding a baritone ukulele here, and it's tuned D, G, B, and E, and that's exactly like the the bottom four strings are the highest tuned strings on a guitar. The exact same thing. So if a lot of people play guitar, the chords would be similar. If you're playing a baritone, you're missing the top low strings that aren't on the guitar that aren't on here, so your chord fingerings change a little bit. You know, it's kind of like a mini guitar. I have a concert ukulele here. You know, it's standard, it's tuned G, C, E, A. I'm using a low G. I guess some people like the high G, so it really doesn't matter. You can use either one for the clawhammer ukulele. And you can play the exact same thing, you just be playing in a different key depending on which uke you're using. Let me start off with the baritone. It's, like I said, it's tuned similar to a guitar. D, G, B, E, and I guess some people may know, but this concert ukulele, is tuned G, C, E, A. It's basically just like the baritone or a guitar. You put a capo at the 5th fret, and basically with the capo you're just shifting up the tuning. Basically, I guess this is D. You fret this next fret, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. So if you put the capo on the 5th fret, now the D becomes a G. So basically you're playing like a regular soprano or concert ukulele. The notes will now be G, C, E, A. And I guess you can hear that here. It'll be the same thing. So if you capo the baritone and you play, now you basically have a regular standard ukulele. I guess the capo shortens up the length and it doesn't ring out or resonate quite as much. So clawhammer, I guess I started playing the ukulele, then dabbled in playing the banjo. And basically the banjo is tuned fairly similar, I guess, to the ukulele, more similar to the baritone ukulele actually. Banjo has 5 strings, the ukulele has 4. So the top string on the banjo is called a drone string. It's normally not fretted, but you use your thumb to pluck it and it rings out. Let me skip that. So the next string is actually tuned D. The next string is G. The next string is B. And then the bottom string is tuned to D. So if you remember, it's almost the same as the baritone ukulele tuning, which was D, G, B, and this was E on the baritone. Now on the banjo it's D. So you can hear the difference on the baritone. You can hear it's tuned a whole step higher. So you can play clawhammer ukulele without changing the ukulele tuning, but I found it easier to change the baritone ukulele tuning to match the banjo, because there's a lot of banjo tab books out there that you can get to learn how to play. So what you want to do for the baritone and your soprano or concert ukulele, I'll show that, is to tune this bottom string from E down to D. So I'll tune that down to D here. top string and the bottom string are both tuned to D, just an octave apart. Let me strum the banjo. So it's the same. Now the ukulele is tuned like the banjo. And so that'll allow you to, like I said, search on the internet, download tabs, get songbooks, start playing, songs that you could learn on the banjo the same as the ukulele. I guess there's two ways people play the banjo with the finger picks, like the Earl Scruggs 3-finger style they call it, or the clawhammer where you don't use finger picks, you're basically picking the string, plucking down on the strings with either your index finger or the middle finger. I use my middle finger, but it doesn't matter. There's been a lot of debate which is better. It doesn't really matter. What's more comfortable for you is the one that you should use, and I'll go through the technique in the next video of playing the clawhammer style. So like I said, since the concert or soprano ukulele is tuned like playing the baritone ukulele, if you put the capo at the 5th fret on the baritone ukulele, so that basically, the interval between the notes on the strings are the same between the two instruments. This is just tuned higher. So if you want to do the same thing, G, C, E. Now this is tuned to A. So you want, remember the baritone, the top and the bottom are tuned to the same notes. So we want to G, C, E, A. You want to tune this bottom string. If you have a concert or soprano, don't have a baritone, you want to tune this down to G. So just drop that a whole step. So now this is tuned G, C, E, G, G, C, E, G. And just so you don't think I'm lying to you, put the capo on the 5th fret of the baritone, G, C, E, G. So basically have the baritone and concert tuned with the same intervals between the notes. You just be playing in a different key. And I guess if we do this for the baritone, D, G, B, D, it's called open G tuning because all the strings are tuned to a note in a G major chord. So it's kind of nice if you want to play, just strum all the strings, you're strumming a G chord, so that means you don't have to fret any of the strings with your left hand to make a chord. So that's helpful when you're playing melody notes. You don't have to worry about fretting a string while you're picking a note to get the melody. And I guess it's going to work out the same way. Now that this is tuned G, C, E, G, this is basically tuned to open C tuning. So all the strings are tuned to a note in a C major chord, which are C, E, C, D, E, F, and G, C, E, and G. So C, G, C, E, G. So now when you strum, this is strumming a C chord. So that's a little intro and background onto the concept of all this. So basically you just want to tune your baritone or the concert soprano ukulele, tune your highest string down a whole step. So the concert soprano will be tuned from A to G. So now it's G, C, E, G. The top and bottom are just an octave apart now. Same thing with the baritone. I'm going to tune this highest string down to a D, D, G, B, D, instead of an E where it normally was. And so if you guys can think about that for a little while, then I'll come back with the next video on the actual technique of playing clawhammer ukulele.